And welcome once again to the Movies and Stuff Show. My name's Dan, and joining me this week is Marty.
How are we doing, good sir?
Good. We just got booed.
Wow. Sometimes we have to just be us. Last couple of episodes we had a pretty big panel.
Talia booed us. Is Talia booing us because we didn't have her on? Is that why she's booing us?
I suppose. Like an old married couple, though, sometimes me and Dan have to get together on our own just to make sure the magic is still there,
That's it. No kids. Just two. And frankly, I'm gonna admit, we didn't really have a topic.
This is a bullshit. Really, kind of shoot the shit kind of show.
Yeah, I'm behind. I'm behind on TV. Is what happened was, and so I've been behind on TV, and now my sound is coming too loud. I was afraid that was gonna happen. I was gonna change my settings, and then everything was gonna go to shit. I fell behind on TV, and then I was like, we could watch a movie, but I need to watch some TV.
And none of us are really interested in the only options this week would have been Red Sparrow, and it's not. I don't think anyone was really looking to talk about that one.
Yeah, I mean, we could have done VOD, but yeah, I mean, we could have. Could have talked a Nick Cage movie. Could always talk a Nick Cage movie.
Gotta get that branding in there.
They gotta get branding in there. I get no ad revenue for this, by the way. I don't even like Pepsi that much. Here's the funny thing: is I like the Coke Zero Sugar better than this Pepsi. Max.
I don't get what their idea is with these. It's not Pepsi Max anymore either. It's not Coke Zero and it's not Pepsi Max.
Coke Zero Sugar now. Yeah.
I don't know what they thought we thought it was that they had to make this big marketing change.
I love Coke Zero. And the Coke Zero Sugar thing, whatever. I like those better than Diet Coke.
Yeah.
My jam is when I see this defaults. This is kind of ruins the experience. But when I go to the movie theaters, I get the Coke Zero Sugar.
You gotta mix though.
But then I do the cherry vanilla.
But I think they have that just standard now for Coke Zero. I like to do a little Coke Zero, throw in a little Pib Extra for a little flavor.
Yeah. So I whatever. Pepsi's fine, but I like the Coke better. All right, let's start off. Yeah, as I mentioned, this is going to be kind of just a hodgepodge. Let's start off with Oscar talk. I was almost tempted to go back to last week's episode and see what our predictions were.
We were almost perfect.
Yeah, you kind of had Best Picture, right? Were you leaning towards
we were debating. It was going to be either Shape of Water or Three Billboards. As the night was going on, it felt like it was going to be Shape of Water.
Yeah.
Del Toro won director,
which we figured that was
we thought that as well. It won for production design. It won for another one. So almost all the awards won something. We had all the actors win as we thought they were, as that has been going all season, so it wasn't really anything special there. The Shape of we went on a limb. I at least thought that Get Out would win original screenplay, which it did.
Yeah.
Call Me by Your Name won adapted screenplay, which we figured it would. So it was really
it was
it was just really standard.
Get Out winning was big though. I think it was an important award. I think it had to. I had to get something. I think it was important, and it was a feel good moment. This Oscars necessarily wasn't really too funny. I'm gonna get to that in a second, Talia. I'm going to get to that in a second. I am going to be very, very happy about that when we get to that in a second. It wasn't necessarily funny. They as we predicted as well, they spent a lot of time just kind of hashing out that joke about last year. We're gonna get the winner right this year. Where's the envelope? Is the envelope right? Yeah.
It was funny. As you can see, they must have changed the envelopes, because as they were holding them, you can see it on the. They were all labeled very clearly as they were holding them. You could see.
Yeah. And they brought back the duo from last year to give out the Best Picture again.
I joked about, I forget what he gave out. What Christopher Walken, I think, gave out one of the major awards, and it scared me how he's already old enough to reach the status where he just gets to show up and get applauded for kind of not being dead yet.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I thought Walken was still in the game here. I didn't think he was reached that kind of
Right. He's not the Warren Beatty status. Yeah.
He's not what's his name, the mumbler.
Which mumbler?
What's his name's dad? Kirk Douglas. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
They still trot him out there at a few awards, and it's hard to watch.
He's still alive? Kirk Douglas still alive?
He did a thing, I think, the Globes.
Jeez. Wow.
And he's out. He presented with his I guess daughter-in-law. And it was just like, all right, yay, he's here. Then he starts talking. It's like it was like when Dick Clark was still hosting the last couple of them.
That was rough. Yeah. I'll be sad when Donald Sutherland is in that territory. Cause he still looks good. He still looks good.
He's in a new show on FX coming out, I think so.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's in the J.P. Getty show.
Yeah,
Money or whatever I think it is. Yeah.
Trust. I think
Trust.
Like
Yeah.
It seems
Money,
like it's
Trust.
Play on that. It's the same thing as that movie. Though
the J.P. Getty one. Yeah, the one with the plumber.
He took a couple of good jokes.
He did. Yeah, he took a couple shots when it's like the up and comer actor Christopher Plummer at the first Academy Awards. Yeah.
I mean, Kimmel did what he does. He's not gonna.
No.
I had a few moments where I was like, oh, come on already. There's only so many times you can hear the same "let's build bridges, not walls" comments, and it's like, all right, yeah, we get the point. Let's
Yeah. Any surprising moments for you?
Not really. I mean, I thought we might have a situation. Dunkirk had some momentum going early in the night. It won for editing, and it won for sound editing and sound mixing. I was like, all right, Dunkirk's winning a lot of awards here. Maybe,
but we knew they were just going to win the technical ones.
But I mean, it was rightfully so. That was the best sound in a long time that I can remember. Blade Runner won all the visuals.
Yeah, and well deserved. Listen,
yeah,
well deserved it. And let's talk about the cinematography. Roger Deakins, finally.
Yeah, crazy.
Finally gets over the hump
or something. Like I said, yeah.
And I mean, this man is a brilliant cinematographer. Has a hell of a career, and finally, the man gets acknowledged, and well deserved too. I mean, Blade Runner 2049 is a beautiful movie. Say what you will. Listen, I know that wasn't your cup of tea from a story standpoint or from an overall enjoy. I reflect back on it and I'm thinking, Jesus, just amazing movie. The more I reflective on it, especially visually though, right? Visually stunning movie.
I was cinematography. I wasn't sure, but it did visual effects. Of course, it got one other one. No, I was hoping maybe Star Wars would get something.
Did Phantom Thread end up winning for costume?
Yes, it did.
It did, right?
Thank God for that. If it didn't win that one,
yeah.
I mean, we all held out hope that we'd get an award for some of their performances, but that's what the one boring part of the show. Right. Like everyone who won an award, for as much as the Oscars want to say they're different than the Golden Globes or SAG Awards, everybody who won one of those awards also won the Oscar. Yeah, and it's been that way now for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. And as big of a fan of Sam Rockwell, and we can now say that we had a Oscar winner on the show.
It was funny how they did it. How they showed the clips for the actors in the movie before. The clip they showed for
Rockwell
was his last scene in the movie, kind of where his redemptive thing. Where if you had no idea about the movie, you'd just say, "Oh, he's a good, he's a driving force of good in the movie." Yeah. And they showed the one scene
of Harrelson being an asshole.
Well, Harrelson being an asshole. I was like, well, it's just kind of fucking with the narrative there.
Yeah.
And the only scene they showed of who she won, of course, but Frances McDormand, they showed a scene of her talking to the deer out by the sign, and more of her, probably her most vulnerable moment of the movie, which was an important scene too, but it wasn't what her character was about, really. So it was weird the message they kind of portrayed about the movie as opposed to what it really was.
I'm going to put you on the spot here. What'd you think of her speech?
It was a bit much.
It seemed a little forced, especially in the beginning, where she's got that nervous laughter, and then breaks into like, "But I got something to say."
Yeah,
that seemed a little like, we know you have something to say. We
and
know,
it's also
we
Anne
know.
Hathaway got the same kind of shit a couple years ago when everyone knew she was going to win, and she still acted like, "Oh my god, I won! How did I can't believe."
Yeah.
We've known for 3 months that Frances McDormand was going to win this award. Right. It was not a shock. It was not a oh my god.
I liked how her speech ended more so than like the beginning felt really forced, and I liked the message behind it, and I liked at the very end where she's like, you know, she had the women stand up and she said, "Talk to us, not at the after parties.
Yeah,
book meetings with us, or we'll come to us, or we'll come to you." Like that portion of it, I really liked, but the beginning was a little too hammy, Frances. A little too much.
And also,
I know she watches the show, so I need to give her some.
And we're essentially behind all the ideas of these speeches and the moments and stuff, but I can see if I was a conservative watching the show, it'd become exhausting very quickly. It just does. It's just all right. You get beaten over the head by it after a while.
Marty Gums, circa 2002. 2001,
oh God,
2002.
I did not watch. I've been, because even like every song that was nominated seems just fucking depressing. Goddamn. Say what you want about La La Land, but the thing was fucking upbeat, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
This was everything, the downtrodden and the struggle, and I was like, oh, okay, Jesus. And also, I wonder how many male actors do you think did not go to the Oscars but still went to the after parties?
Oh yeah,
because there were there were some noticeable absences from this thing. There was no Clooney, no Pitt, no Damon, neither Affleck. So there was a very lack of white men in the room, we'll say.
Yeah, no, they're totally at the party.
Yeah,
the Affleck. I mean, Casey Affleck's not gonna give up a party.
Casey, man, that was noticeable that they switched it up. They made Emma Stone. They didn't have Emma Stone give out best. Normally, the best actress last year gives out best actor. She got out best director, and also she, 4 male directors and 1 woman. It's like, all right, we know. You don't have to make fucking the guy feel bad for winning.
I'm hoping next year is the Asian revolt. Like, honestly, we need one. Last year, what was it? Yeah, last year or 2 years ago was Oscars So White.
2 years ago was
Oscars So White.
Last year was nothing really.
No, this is nothing. This year, it's the Me Too stuff. I want the Asians. Listen.
Not even Asians. I mean, we had
Guillermo del Toro one. I want the Asian revolt. Asian best actor.
I mean, they never even get a sniff, really.
Listen, I need not Getty Watanabe. Getty Watanabe was a guest on our show. Who is the Ken Watanabe, right?
I mean, the closest you ever got was Brokeback Mountain director.
With Ang Lee. Yeah, well, he's won. Ang Lee's
that's
won.
The only thing. Yeah. I can't think of an actor.
Next year, we need Ang Lee to put out an awesome movie. We need Ken Watanabe to put out a hell of a performance. Some Asian actresses, come on.
We need an Asian superhero, really. That's what we need.
We do. There is no Asian superhero, really, is there?
Not.
Could we just take one of the regular superheroes and make them Asian?
I mean, easily. I mean, we've been taking samurais and making them Tom Cruise for so long now.
Could we have a Japanese Captain America? I
or the Bizarro.
I think
world where they win World War II.
They should swap Captain America so he becomes a melting pot. So every movie, there's a Mexican Captain America, there's an Asian Captain America, there's a black Captain America. Michelle Yeoh plays Captain America, a female Asian Captain America.
Marvel Phase 7.
It's Disney. Disney's inclusive, right? So, yeah. Listen, I want to say this, I'm not a fan of award shows, and award shows are stupid, and I always watch the Oscars though.
Yeah, it's incredibly.
I don't like them.
It's
to a degree.
I think this one went 3.5 hours, maybe 3 hours 40 minutes or so.
But there's part of me that still likes it though. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I enjoy the whole. it should have been earlier in the year this time because it felt a little dated. Some of these movies, and maybe
Get Out was well over a year old.
Get Out well over a year old, yeah, and even some of the other ones have been out 4 months or so.
Yeah.
And maybe switch up the hosts. Maybe not just have one of the late night guys anymore. It needs to do something different. Maya Rudolph came out and did with Tiffany Haddish, and they did a whole bit, which was hilarious. It might be too much for the Oscars to do for a whole show, but it was pretty funny. Something different. It's always either Kimmel or it was
for a
Kimmel
while.
Was 2 years in a row,
Right.
and
For a while, it was they had Letterman did it for a while, and then who's the other main one they always had?
I think Fallon's done it.
Jeez. Back in the day, though, they had like the same.
Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal did it like 80 times, right? I think it's 90 Oscars, and Billy Crystal did 80 of them. I shit you not. Really.
Song and dance, man, every time.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, I mean, the Deakins thing really made me happy with Best Cinematography. That was, I guess it was a surprise just because he's been shit on for so long with this. Other than that, it's, yeah, it was, there was no big shocker. There's,
I mean, you could have went, even if you had 2 other or 3, someone else win Best Picture, it wouldn't have been a shock.
Yeah.
If 3 Billboards or one of the other ones won it. The only major award that didn't get any win, I think, was Lady Bird. Which was weird because every Lady Bird clip they showed, I think, got the greatest reaction from the audience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good year for movies. Nothing great. The ratings were down a little bit, but the ratings
are down. Yeah.
Ratings are down for everything.
TV, yeah, we'll get into that. I mean, TV in general suffering ratings, right? The NFL had a quote-unquote down year and still had what 50 out of the 60 out of the top 100 shows were like NFL games on a down year. Yeah, I mean, the Oscars aren't really appealing to the younger generations. It's not really a show for them. It's still run by old white men.
Yeah.
As much as you want to say is like, yeah, we're getting younger. No, it's still. So what was it? There was a whole story about Get Out. Well, there was a whole story about Get Out of where it really didn't get a fair shake at even Best Picture because there was just a lot of old white men that refused to watch it.
I mean, from what the Academy is, I think if you polled them, they haven't watched half these things, I would assume. I mean,
they're going on word of mouth and just guessing.
Once it was pretty much, Frances McDormand's going to win. Okay, we'll just vote them in.
Okay, anything else on Oscars?
No, I mean, it'll be interesting to see next year what we see out of Black Panther.
Yeah.
It'd be shocking if it wasn't at least nominated for Best Picture. Even though I don't think it should, but yeah.
Next topic. I found this out today. 20 years ago today, The Big Lebowski came out.
I was surprised there wasn't more of it, because there's always some kind of they do the, the shows, and they do kind of weird things with this movie all the time.
Yeah, no, they're going to have a Lebowski Fest. They're going to have a 20-year anniversary Lebowski Fest. They released a 20th anniversary edition of the DVD. I don't know if there's anything super special on it. It's a great movie. It's fantastic. It is one of the best screenplays, beat for beat. Funny fucking movie. Flows really well. All the characters work so well together. So quotable. Such a fun time. I remember seeing it. I was on the very, very early fan train of this, if you will. I didn't see it in theaters, but as soon as it came out on like DVD, like we had a copy of it and we were watching it non-stop.
I think you guys kind of got me into this one too.
Yeah.
Because I'd probably seen it on TV or something and like, oh, that's a little weird. So I kind of, just didn't really get into it. Then I think probably the first time I really watched the whole thing was in Bayonne with you guys.
Yeah.
And there might have been substances involved that helped the.
Yeah. Usually so, right?
But it's probably one of the ones we always list when we talk about best comedies of the last 20 years, or even best movies. It should always be on one of the best movie lists of the last. I guess it's not this century anymore, but 20, 25 years.
It's great though if you look at the actual screenplay. Every pause, every every beat is in the script. And that is what's fascinating about this, is you can imagine the Coen brothers, like all right, Buscemi and John Goodman and Turturro, like probably going off script, and the Coen's like, no, redo this as the script. Man, so fucking good, really. Like, and some of the lesser known lines. I mean, I think one of my favorite lines is, "This is what you get when you fuck a stranger in the ass," right?
Well, that's so good in that even the
TV
censored
edit
version is famous.
This is what you get when you fight a stranger in the Alps. Yeah,
and there was always different versions depending on what channel you saw it on, but
right,
that was always the main one.
Yeah, that one, and then of course, when you're talking about TV edits, it's Scarface. It's like, how'd you get that scar? From eating pineapple. How'd you get a scar like that from eating pineapple? And it actually makes sense. Well, if you're eating pineapple,
Big Lebowski, Scarface, and I think like anytime you try to see Casino or Goodfellas on regular TV, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about later too. The rules of TV, I think, are gone.
Out the window. From what we're seeing, talk a little bit about USA television, right?
Not even like FX was pushing the ballot for a while, but like USA Network just dropping N-words and
jeez, it's all
like it's fun.
It's a new world. The FCC is like run by a frat boy now, so no one's caring.
I'm just fucking shocked. I was clutching my pearls watching that fucking show.
Oh, you're a prude, Marty.
Yes.
Prude. So yeah, happy 20th anniversary to the Big Lebowski. Let's see. Let us turn on the old TV, and we have our TV on. What are we going to start off with? What do you want to start off with? You want to start off with?
Well, we both watched Waco.
Okay, so let's flick the channel on. Let's watch some Waco. All right, so watching some Waco on the FX. No, this is Paramount.
No, this was the Paramount.
Yeah,
the old Spike.
Old Spike, new Paramount,
which was odd.
Yeah,
I come up with a name.
six episode arc. Taylor Kitsch, who was in
very good.
Oh, fantastic. He was in the True Detective season 2, right?
True Detective, most famous for Friday Night Lights.
Yep.
TV show. Failed he had a couple of big bombs after that. With he was supposed to be the Gambit character, and he was that.
Yeah.
Well, he was the Gambit in the first Wolverine standalone. And that just movie was hated all around, so he never got that. And then what was the something on Mars? What was that movie? John Carter on Mars, I think.
Oh, he was John Carter. Yeah.
Massive.
Ooh. Yeah.
So he just kind of went away for a little while.
Yeah.
But he seems to be back now.
Hell of a performance in this. Michael Shannon.
Michael Shannon is... Dude. And it's crazy. He's also in Shape of Water playing... Not playing...
I haven't seen it, but yeah.
Yeah, he's always some form of government agent or military police. You know,
or
some
Zod.
kind of guy like that. Yeah, but it's always... He always does something that makes it okay. Like... It's typecast in a way, but it's always something. He always brings something to the role that makes it not stale, you know? Somehow.
Yeah.
But this was a weird show in that it was just it seemed very one-sided, I must say.
Do you think so? I mean, whose side is it? You think is more along his side? Michael Shannon's like trying to make
it was Michael Shannon's side and the survivors of Waco's side, and there was no... You know, it really painted the ATF and FBI, and it rightfully so in some instances, maybe not in others, but it really painted them as the villains in this.
Yeah, I agree. There was some ambiguity there, though, which we don't know everything that happened, right? We don't know how some of these people were actually killed, right? I think they even said that. It's uncertain if Steve, the right-hand man, you know, killed him out of. He realized, oh my God, this guy's a fraud. They don't actually know how the fire started. There's a lot of.
Yeah, I've heard other reports from people who survived who said that he was lighting the fires as it was happening.
Right.
But at this, it's completely. The idea is that these FBI caused the fires because of the smoke alarm, smoke, the gas they sent in or whatever.
Yeah, they really decided it that way. That all pushed aside from dramatic, just good television, enjoyable show. Tough to watch at times, especially with the kids, especially the last couple of scenes with watching the kids dying underneath that school bus. That the one FBI agent finally has this breakdown where he's like trying to dig them out and realizes what's going on. He's a good actor too. Like he's been in.
Oh yeah, Shea Wingham.
Yeah,
he plays that role too a lot. The kind of the asshole version of a cop. He was also with Michael Shannon in Boardwalk. He's been in True Detective season 1. He's been in a bunch of HBO stuff.
Yeah. Had some Reno time. Had a scene with Janet Reno. Yeah.
That was, I mean, it kind of looked like her, but she was not the force, the tall figure, She was not very tall. I think Janet Reno was 6 foot plus. And it also made her look like a complete,
Oh, yeah.
It made it like that scene.
His history does not fare well for her.
No, between that and Nelly Gonzalez. But that scene just is a flat out, all right, they went in there and lied to her, apparently. And it's, they didn't get their perspective on that. So it's like,
right.
How truthful is that? And I also don't think it was just those two people and Janet Reno. That I'm assuming Shea Willingham's character is an amalgamation of 10 guys, probably.
Probably, yeah.
And the one guy who's really in charge of the Glenn Fisher character, who's just the kind of oaf FBI guy. Like one scene he seems like just doesn't care about anybody, and another scene he seems like it's just a little over the place. And then they had the radio character. I think it's kind of a take on an Alex Jones.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, I actually like this one.
I think Alex Jones kind of started around this time.
Yeah.
Down in Texas, and this is the kind of stuff he would have been talking about.
Yeah, I think. Listen, it actually painted conservative radio in a much better light. Like I think it. But it goes to show you too is both sides of the radio, right? You're gonna have the extremes, and then you're gonna have the middle. For a while, and this is gonna sound really bad. For a while, O'Reilly was not that nuts. Like in the very early thousands, like O'Reilly really played that role of definitely conservative, but would call bullshit on tons of different things. And as time went on, it just kept going further and further down a company line and realizing the base and realizing how popular he could be with a certain audience. And that's when he started losing credibility. But early thousands, O'Reilly still had some credibility. He was probably still groping women and doing inappropriate things. But he had credibility. And that's why I kind of feel like with this radio host in the show is he was making sense. I was like,
he was just taking a straight kind of libertarian point of view.
Right.
And I mean, nothing that the ATF did initially made any kind of sense in the story.
No.
And and the way they painted every picture as if someone was just trying to either save their job or save their.
I felt bad about the Leguizamo character, and it was good. I liked him in it, and he kind of faded away after the shit went down with that.
There was a weird thing where Waco was on TV almost all the time right before this show started, and I saw an interview where he was taking part of some kind of documentary, and he seems a little odder than they portrayed him in this. Like he seemed like he was in this show. He's portrayed as almost being on with the people's side, the Davidian side, and thinking they might have been justified in anything. But as he talked about in the interview, he seemed like, oh, I was just playing those guys. I didn't know anything. It's like.
Right.
Hard to tell where he really was in that. And then I didn't there was one scene with the the tactical side of the FBI guy where he made some sense, but then none of his tactics really made him seem sympathetic, where it's just the idea that the FBI couldn't just let this happen because it was on TV now at this point, and if they couldn't show them to be completely impotent to 10 50 people in a house or whatever.
Yeah.
But again, they just looked horribly worse in the end of it all.
I know. Yeah.
And the ramifications of this, that event are,
Well, because I mean, essentially, it's what spurred the Oklahoma City bombing.
Yeah, that's what the legend is.
Yeah, is that, and you can kind of understand it, right? I mean, because this is that fear of big government, and not to say that the Branch Davidians weren't doing some stuff that they were running guns.
Yeah.
I mean, they were selling guns illegally. They were, there was a right for the ATF to be involved, but for them to do a raid like that,
there was no need for
no.
And then, I mean, they didn't touch a lot on the children stuff, but he was marrying, and it was odd that I also learned watching some other things that Texas law, I think you could have married a 14-year-old or something back then
with consent from the parents.
With consent from the parents. So again, a lot of his stuff wasn't illegal, but it was just but it was,
well, I mean, technically the multiple wives was illegal as well. Say what you will about that. Listen, it's I think listen, if a woman wants to have multiple husbands as well, I mean,
the show gave Koresh, because they tipped in the first episode or two, he seemed like a nice guy, kind of. Then he would go dark for a few episodes. By the end, it wasn't. They didn't show. They gave him almost a graceful ending. I'm not sure this guy deserved that.
Yeah. I think for a while I think they did a good job of swaying the gray.
So he had to be charming to get all these people to do this. So I mean, they had to show that part of it.
Right.
But they didn't really. There are just as many reports that he did start all the fires himself as there was that the FBI did it. So to not give any credence to that and just blame the FBI for it, I think was a bit heavy-handed.
See, that would have been to me if they would have had a scene where Steve, kills Koresh because he thinks that Koresh did it or was a false prophet or something like that. I think because there are reports that that's what happened, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that he kind of killed him out of, mercy or sympathy.
Yeah, whatever, almost gets him off the hook, almost, really.
Right. Yeah.
Also, one of Macaulay Culkin's, I guess, youngest brother.
Kieran. Was that Kieran?
I think. Rory.
Rory.
Culkin.
Good performance. I like it. Yeah.
Played one of the survivors.
Thibodeau.
And there wasn't much of an epilogue to this. I was expecting a little more. I wanted to know what happened to those FBI guys' careers.
Yeah.
Well, but then again,
I mean, they got promoted. Now they're...
Yeah, that's how I assumed it would have happened, because that's always how this happens, usually. But there was no real explanation of what happened to each individual person that survived.
All right. Moving on. Let's flick the channel. What else we got?
Well, just
some Rebels. Rebels. There you go.
Oh yeah, Star Wars Rebels ended up yesterday. And it was fun. It was actually the first time I watched the whole series. Of course, it was four seasons. I usually watch it though DVR'd and watch it later. This is the first time I watch it live, and it's funny watching it on Disney XD because you're seeing just. You think you're watching a serious drama show. You're watching. It's in between 10 different commercials for Paw Patrol toys or something like that. So you really feel like an asshole while you're watching this one. And it's funny. They ended it well. They really wrapped it up well, because the whole time watching this show, you're thinking, all right, well, we don't know these characters in the movies, so almost like it was with Rogue One, you figure they have to die. But then again, it's Disney XD, so you're not going to have a mass slaughter of 10 main characters. So they tied it together well in a way where they really shown it only, they did battles only on this kind of one planet. So things affected the Greater Rebellion, but they were isolated enough in that it's almost like if you compared it to, say, the Revolutionary War, where there were battles in that state too. They probably weren't as famous, but they were still effective. So you didn't have to know every general and every person like that.
Yeah, but knowing that some of these are Jedis, though, right? Like at least two of them are.
Two of them are Jedis.
Well, one of them. Well.
One of them.
We can talk about spoilers. No, who cares? One of them gets killed like a couple episodes ago, right?
One of them died a couple episodes ago. Was the Freddie Prinze Jr. character, and it was funny. It's a weird thing about the show. It's a hardcore Star Wars fan show, basically. So you have a lot of the same people who didn't like some of the things that happened in Last Jedi who love this. And so now you get well, see, this is what the movie should be doing. And to an degree, I do like in this show how everything kind of works together. Like the things that happen that you didn't even realize were important in season 2 wound up coming into the finale somehow, and it worked. So there is fair arguments of movies where they seem to be making up too much as they go along. So I get that point. But there are things you can do in a cartoon that 2 million people are watching.
Sure.
That you can't do in a movie where you're expected to making 1.3 billion is kind of
failure. Right.
Yeah. There's a whole storyline this last season where these gigantic talking wolves, and it works on TV and it's fun animation wise. But if you did that on a movie, it would just look fucking silly. And you would have people the whole time scratching, like the hardcore fans, like, oh, I remember this from the episode whatever. But it's just I think Star Wars fans have to realize sometimes that there are things that are just for us too in the books and the thing and this stuff, but Disney is a corporation that's trying to make $2 billion a movie at this time. So, and also something happened last 2 episodes before the finale. They did this weird where they just did 3 episodes in a row almost to end the show. I don't know why. They kind of rushed it a bit, but they kind of fucked around with time travel and how you can affect things in the past. And I was, as of course, a hardcore Star Wars fan, you're more of a enjoy the movies Star Wars fan, but not, into it too much. So I was wondering how you would, the way it's called a world between worlds, essentially what it was. And one of the Jedi characters is able to go into this little space and he can hear Yoda from episode 5 and you can hear Rey in there. You can hear Maz Kanata, you heard for a couple times, Luke, Vader, you heard everybody. And there were little things, there were little like portals they called. And he did one thing where he kind of changed history, where he ripped the Ahsoka character out. And that changed, but it only changes, they kept it into that little world of the show so nothing really changed anything else. And technically, in the end, they of course destroyed it, so you can never use it again. But
they opened it up.
They introduced it. Yeah, they introduced that this is a thing.
And
so,
who
do you think?
Who rebooted Star Wars? Who rebooted it? Is it Mr. J.J. Abrams?
Mr. J.J. Abrams, and he enjoys
who rebooted Star Trek in a similar capacity, who has messed around with time and lost
at the time
as well. Right.
I mean, it's nothing I can see them doing anytime soon, of course. But 30 years down the line, when most of the people who love the original trilogy are gone, or too old to complain, all you have to do is go into one of these things, tweak a little thing here, and you can change the whole fucking. Vader's a good guy all of a sudden.
Or Vader wins, or the dark side wins.
It's a funny little thing they did that I'm sure will go very interesting. And also it's funny, the Last Jedi novel comes out this week, and I just read the prologue on the line today, and the prologue is a dream of Luke. And the whole dream sequence is if he didn't do anything in episode 4. So it was pretty, So they're kind of tinkering with what might happen if one thing, his dream sequence is they come for the droids, and he says, "All right, go take them. That's fine." And in this world that happens after that, he's married he stays as a moisture farmer. He's on the Leia was executed 3 weeks after what happened. And the Empire is still there. So it's like they're toying with these little things of destiny and kind of like one little, you change one thing and the whole, galaxy can change. So it's again, and that's why I'm fine with there. I hear people complain that not enough connects between the books and the movies and the, comics and everything. I'm fine enjoying these things separately that, understanding that we had the same conversation with the comics where it's like, oh, it's not like that. You have to kind of understand how these things.
You mentioned Revolutionary War. I think more of like just World War II, right? You can have a story that takes place in the Pacific. You can have a story that takes place in Europe and in Germany or in Russia or in France or in the UK or even in Hawaii. You can have one that takes place in North Africa. You can have all of these stories that take place in all these different areas, and they all play a part in the bigger world of the end result of World War II. So I'm fine. I think for Star Wars to be able to survive is they're gonna have to branch off, and do these separate things. I don't want to listen. My interest in Han Solo, I mean, I'll watch it because of this fucking show, Marty. Like, I will watch, but if it wasn't for this show, I would not go to the theaters to see the Han Solo movie. I wouldn't do it.
I think you'd still see it eventually, but you wouldn't rush
I
out
might
first,
see it. I might see it eventually.
Like if I told you it was good, you'd go see it. But I mean, like I said, even I wasn't, I see no great need for this movie right now. Even when they announced it, I was like, oh. There are other things
I would be much more inclined to see just something that's taking place in the greater galaxy that is,
Well, I think that's where they're going next. You can see
right.
The Game of Thrones guys got to, are going to do their own thing. We assume Rian Johnson's still going to get to make his own trilogy.
Yeah.
People hate on Rian Johnson. I have no he made his choices. I'm fine with his choices he made. He came from a pure place of he loves Star Wars. He's not some new guy came in, didn't give a shit about the past of Star Wars and just did what he ever wanted to do.
But I think that's what they're going to need to do, is they're going to have to branch out and do these different stories if they're going to want to keep it interesting. After this final, I mean, the Skywalker story is pretty much over, right? I mean, Leia is the
Leia will be gone in this movie, and Kylo Ren,
Kylo Ben, whatever. Like, I mean, that ends it, right? I mean, that ends the kind of bloodline right there after Leia and.
Unless we go back into the portal
and
change things.
In the portal, find out that Rey is actually Luke's daughter. I don't know. Okay. Changing the channel. So I'll talk about two things. The first thing is new episodes of The Tick on Amazon. Fantastic show. If you didn't watch, like they released 8 episodes, then they went on hiatus, and now they released the second batch of season 1. Such a funny show, so good, and all right, fuck you, Gorkle. Stop watching. Listen, I don't care. The show's boring nowadays. Later, then fine. Just fucking stop watching, man.
We can use one less.
Really, I don't care. Yeah,
go from 5 to 4.
Listen. You want me to just block you? Then you don't even have the choice to fucking chime in and watch anymore. Then I can do that. Really, I don't fucking care. Tick, really, really funny, really good stuff. They just brought in. See, now I've lost my train of thought. Jackie Earle Haley is in the second part of the season. Really good, fun stuff. So yeah, check it out if you haven't checked it out. It's on. Do you have Amazon? Amazon Prime. Yeah. Watch it. It's fun. They're like 22-minute episodes.
I heard someone else say that was really good.
Really good. I mean, I loved the cartoon growing up. I loved the Tick cartoon. I thought it was hilarious. The show that came out with Putty, they had Putty playing the Tick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I watched that back in 2010. I was unemployed for 3 weeks, and
it's a good time.
Yeah. Quit my job and was unemployed for 3 weeks. And during that time, I binge watched the Tick television show, the live action one. It's really good. It's really good. This one's fantastic though. Great. The other thing, did you start watching Brockmire? I recommended it to you.
No. Okay. Yeah, I got to get on that one.
It's on. You have Hulu?
No, I don't have a Hulu.
You have Hulu? It might be on IFC on demand. The new season of Brockmire starts up in April, so they might start airing them soon. Jesus, Marty, the first 5 minutes of this episode is just Hank Azaria, like possibly the best of his career. One of the funniest openings in a television show, period. Like I can't believe this is a pilot episode. I can't believe how much it clicks and just hits you in the face in the first couple of minutes of this show. And it's about a baseball announcer. Yeah. Joe Buck has a recurring role in it, and he's great.
Joe Buck thinks he's funny. He really does.
They actually make him funny. They make Joe Buck really funny in this. Tim Kurchin shows up in a couple episodes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, you see a couple of these people that, because you're a baseball fan, so you'll get a lot more of the references than a non-baseball fan. But even so, it appeals to like. It might. I'm so shocked that Hank Azaria didn't get nominated for any awards, and by season 2 he might. He might. Like,
that's the thing with TV. There's so much, and
yeah.
The awards are they kind of get lazy with Emmys. They just go to the same well a lot. Whereas we're gonna nominate Modern Family. We're gonna nominate Downton Abbey. We're gonna nominate if Game of Thrones was on this year. We'll nominate that one. It's
right.
There's just so much to I don't even know how you even keep track anymore. There's 1,000 Netflix shows on. There's all these Hulu shows. There's a new show just started up on Hulu I wanted to watch about it's kind of about 9/11. It's about the the kind of different departments before 9/11 not sharing any information, how it kind of fucked up. But Jeff Daniels is in it.
Yeah.
And a few guys.
There's another show on Amazon, another Philip K. Dick inspired show I wanted to watch.
Well, we're gonna be snowed in for a few days, so we might as well
maybe
start watching some things.
All right. Anything else?
I do want to touch on that we alluded to before, the Biggie Tupac murder show.
Oh yeah.
On USA. USA promo this show for like 3 months. Like it was the greatest thing that's ever happened. And we're kids of the '90s for the most part. We were around when all this happened, so it appeals to us in a way. But the hammy overacting in this fucking thing is really, it's too much. Josh Duhamel plays one of the cops.
Oh, that's right. I did see the commercial for this. Yeah.
And he's not as bad, but he tries to play like a cool hip kind of cop, backwards hat and shit. And then it's a weird show, and they're shooting it simultaneously. Like 3 different timelines are weaving in simultaneously. So it's 2 characters who played Biggie and Tupac, as pretending they were friends or something, as they get killed. Then there's the initial investigation. Scott Michael Campbell. I don't know if he's been in a bunch of things. Oh, not it. No, he's not. One of the cops is a guy who wrote the book on claiming it's all a big LAPD conspiracy kind of thing. And then Josh Duhamel, I think, is in around 2007 when they reopened it. And it's just, they're very interesting aspects to all this, but I don't think they're introducing anything as of yet that hasn't been shown in any one of the 2,000 documentaries or behind the musics that have been done on this topic. And so I was kind of wondering, like, we've seen now, last year was big. We had the OJ trial on FX at the OJ trial. Then they tried to do the Menendez trial on NBC, and it wasn't as successful. We had, of course, the Tanya Harding movie this year, I, Tanya, another 90s tragedy. We had Waco, we just talked about, 90s tragedy.
The assassination of Gianni Versace's on right now.
Assassination of Versace, which I missed last week.
I'm an episode behind as well.
That's a weird show, and that so much of what they're doing it seems like it's on hearsay because
they're doing
entire episodes on people who didn't tell this story to anybody. So
Conan didn't survive, so like some of the episodes where it's just him and another guy, like
who he killed.
Yeah, right.
So they're getting this from nowhere, and it's compelling television. It's great television.
It's good. It's really good television. It's a great show. But
to say it's not to say it's accurate is a real stretch.
No.
So we had the Menendez
jumping ship to FX, right? The guy that does Horror Story, American Horror Story, and American Crime Story, he just signed a big deal with FX. With Netflix. Sorry, okay, he's jumping ships off of FX to go to Netflix. He did. I'm blanking on his name, but he did Nip Tuck. He did that singing show, Glee.
Oh yeah.
Jeez, I'm blanking on his name. But yeah, he just signed a mega deal with Netflix. When you tell me the name, it's gonna just irk me. It's like, what? How did I forget this? Yeah.
Let's see. That's not coming up.
Your Google skills are terrible. I'm gonna find it before you, aren't I?
You know, these aren't easy names to spell.
Oh, it's a Ryan Murphy. I didn't even have to look
Ryan
at it.
Murphy.
I didn't even have to look at it. Like
Okay.
as soon as I opened up Google, I was like, no, Ryan Murphy. Yeah, Ryan
I
Murphy.
was struggling with assassination for a second, and then you get to Gianni Versace.
I just like Johnny Versace.
You got 4 S's in that fucking word assassination. You can lose 2 of them. You still know what's going on.
If there's ever an assassination in Mississippi, you're gonna be doomed.
Oh, Jesus. So that's the thing. Like, I'm trying to figure out the next '90s tragedy that we'll see on TV, and the only ones I can see, we haven't really had a good LA riot show.
Ooh, do we want one?
I mean, it'd be compelling. I mean, it kind of got looped into some of the OJ stuff we saw last year, and you forget like how fucking long that went on. It was crazy.
Right.
So that, and maybe Princess Diana. We haven't had a really big Princess Diana.
What would would it be along the lines of
that you can do? There's so many conspiracy theories
paparazzi?
her too. Yeah.
Let's see.
So you can do a FX could probably do that pretty well in the same vein. Because you can jump back and forth to her life and the day she died, kind of stuff. Because there was so much going on with that. With either was the driver drunk? Was was it there's 1,000 conspiracy theories about that, whether or not she was killed and whatnot. So there's that story, and the only one I could think of was a Bill Clinton Monica story.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Which has been kind of done in some, the Primary Colors movie, but
right.
It wasn't a full-on delve into that. Now that we know Hillary won't be around anymore, you can kind of do that. And then there's always 1,000 different Michael Jackson dramas you can put together. But so yeah, those. I think we're running dry on '90s tragedies for television. We have to create some new ones.
The internet. Lorena Bobbitt. Have we seen a
Bobbitt one? Yeah, you can do that.
John Wayne Bobbitt. Right.
This, like, I'm sure we've had, Lifetime movies about all these things. But to get a serious treatment for one of these, I think would be good. You can get Bobbitt and Amy Fisher was the '80s, I think. Might have been
no, it was '90s. Amy Fisher.
Again, that had like 4 different movies of it too. Yeah. And that was just the fact that even was a big story is just odd.
Sure.
It shows how much New York dictates the rest of the world sometimes.
Tali saying Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, they've tried that in a few different ways. There was a movie with Brad Pitt's brother. What was his name?
Brad Pitt has a brother.
The other guy named Pitt. I don't know if it's his brother, but
Michael Pitt.
Michael Pitt.
Yeah,
they did a movie about him like in a Kurt Cobain. Like again, it's hard with the movie, the singers, because so much of it is wrapped up in the rights to the music and the likeness.
So
I'm pretty sure Courtney owns all that shit.
Burt Bobain. You can't even as a Kurt Cobain just flop the C and the K. You can't even do that.
Yeah. So there was just the movie was just kind of this kind of a guy on drugs, a movie singer who killed him. So it's like you knew who they were talking about the whole time, but they couldn't come out and say it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Courtney Love owns all that. So
yeah,
that's the problem too with the Tupac and Biggie stuff. There's been 2 movies and now this show, and neither of them are any good because the mothers own the rights to a lot of the stuff, so they're not going to put out something that paints them in disparaging lights. Yeah. So it's funny that in so many Suge Knight, an actor who plays Suge Knight was in the movie for Tupac and is now in this TV show, and the guy who played Biggie in the Biggie movie also played Biggie in the Tupac movie.
Good. That's what they should do for consistency.
At least they're giving people work.
Yeah.
But yeah, that show, man. N-word, this, and motherfucker, and
that's on USA. You're saying?
Yeah. Like I know. I mean, it's on at like 10, 11 o'clock, but still. Like the USA has wrestling, and they beep out the word, ass sometimes when they fucking play.
Hey, listen, it's a conspiracy theory against the McMahon family. It's being censored for being Republicans. We'll see what happens with the XFL.
Oh God.
All right. Let's figure out a movie to talk about next week. We'll go back to we gotta please Gorkwill.
Oh yeah, he needs us to be exciting.
No, I'm not even joking. Like, listen, don't come back, Gorkwill. Please, I'm really asking you, don't come back. Don't watch our show. If you come back next week, then I'll just ban you. Let me see if I can go into the chat and just ban you now, maybe, just to fucking put you out of your goddamn misery, because you've been. No, I've been holding this in for a while. You've been really fucking mean to Marty since day one. Been an asshole to Marty. I don't appreciate it. I know you love Abe. Abe's gone. Abe moved to Canada. He's not coming back. Sorry. Get over it. Move to fucking Canada if you want to see Abe. Done.
God bless him.
Tally's asking me to block him too. That's it. He's done. All right. Don't come back, Gorkwill. We'll be back next week. We're going to talk about a movie. Please make sure to like this episode, or if you're Gorkwill, you can not like it. I don't fucking care. Subscribe, or if you're a Gorkwill, unsubscribe. Follow us at Movie Stuff Show on Twitter and Facebook. If you're Gorkwill, don't do that either. And that's it. Back next week.
Everybody.
Figure something out. Find a show. Do something. Bye.